Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Jiovani.
Sporties, how you guys doing?
Woo!
Give it up for Eddie. Is that guy funny or what?
Yeah.
He's awesome, isn't he? It's funny, he was talking about like those selfie sticks. I personally think they should rename them and they should start calling them narcissistics. Right? And it's wild that he talks about internet dating because I've done internet dating and I actually did eHarmony. Has anybody ever done eHarmony? I'm the only loser doing internet dating in the room. All right, that's cool. Anyway, no, he's true. It's 138 questions you have to answer for your profile to go live. And some of the questions are test questions to see whether or not you're really looking for romance or you're just looking for, a quickie or whatever. I got an email this morning with a rejection letter from eHarmony. I wish that was a joke. Okay? Apparently, I failed question 14. They tell you what you failed. Question 14 was, what is the most attractive thing you find in a woman? My answer was, my dick. You women say you want honesty. I call bullshit on that. So we're 100 days into Trump's presidency. What do you guys think so far? It doesn't matter. I don't care what you think either way, Republican, Democrat. You have to admit, we've come a long way in our political arena in this country, right? We just had Barack Obama, right? Very first African American in the White House. Okay? Granted, still a black man in government housing. And don't forget that shit's subsidized, people. And then just a few presidents ago, we had our very first same-sex couple in the White House. The Clintons. I used to sit up at night and wonder who wore the pants in that family, and then one day it just hit me. Bill was never in his. And now we got Trump. It's a little too early to tell. All right, he's kind of already pissed off some people. He's got the Muslims on edge, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Holy shit. See, I think he's going about it all wrong. If we want to make the Muslims kind of calm down and feel like they're part of this country, we have to do something to make them feel like they're part of the fabric of the country. Gio's got your solution. Let me run this by you, okay? We're going to find the top 100 biggest mosques in the country, okay? On one side of the mosque, we're going to put in a lingerie/sex shop called You Mecca Me Hot. Okay, and then on the other side, we're going to put a bar in, okay? And the bar is going to be called Mohammed. Okay, where their slogan is, Allah have another one. Why can't Muslims feel comfortable getting bombed for once? That's all I'm saying. Oh, yeah, we're going there, folks. You're on the bus, but I'm the driver. We're going down that fucking road tonight. I'm telling you that right now. Oh. I used to get bombed, but I can't anymore. I'm a recovering alcoholic. I've been sober 234 days. Yeah. Total, not a row. Since I was like 14. Had a good run up until I was 14, that's for sure. This is how I found out I had a problem. Like, how many people party for New Year's Eve? Oh, we're all sitting in a bar on a Saturday fucking night. I'm the only one that parties on New Year's Eve? Okay, that's what I thought. See, my friends used to brag how they started early. They're like, yeah, we start partying early, man. We start like around noon, 1 o'clock. I'm like, dude, I start like at Thanksgiving. And speaking of New Year's, does anybody make New Year's resolutions? Anybody? Because you can't keep them, right? That's why I stopped making them. Because I couldn't keep them. And Eddie, as a matter of fact, I was talking to him about this last year, and he said, Gio, what your problem is you're setting the bar too high. You got to set attainable New Year's resolutions. So I set the bar where I thought I could keep them, and this was last year. I set 3 resolutions, and I've kept them to this day. Seriously. You guys want to know what they are?
Yeah.
Yep. stop working out, eat whatever I want, and jack off when I feel like it. And it's been a very successful almost 18 months so far, I think. It's been awesome. But where I really found out I had a problem is I had, as a matter of fact, again, Eddie, we can tell we tour all over. I borrowed his car, and I'm driving back home from the bar, back to the hotel where we were staying when we were on the road, and I hit a button on the radio. And by the way, when I was driving, I was doing one of these numbers. I don't recommend it. Right? Yeah, I shouldn't have been behind the wheel. I admit it. Okay. Does anybody else have a DUI? Again, I'm the only degenerate in the bar on Saturday night. All right. All right, I appreciate that. Thank you. But no, I was driving down the road and I hit some button on the goddamn steering wheel, and I went from listening to God, who was I? I said, Justin Timberlake. No, I went from listening to Texas Hippie Coalition to Justin Bieber. Yes, exactly. As a side note, Justin Bieber is to real music what Taco Bell is to real Mexican food. Okay? So I couldn't figure out what button I hit on the steering wheel, right? So I leaned down to change it back, and when I sat up, I had to swerve to avoid hitting a tree. Yeah, turned out to be my air freshener. Try explaining that to a judge in a crowded Pinellas County courtroom and leaving with dignity, I dare you. It's just not going to happen. But, so I don't drink anymore, but I do, I smoke a little weed. Any weed smoke? You look like a weed smoker. So. I'm not stereotyping, bro. I came from Colorado where they legalized it recreationally, right? And I don't think lawmakers have a clue about weed, okay? Because in Colorado, you can have up to an ounce on your person. That's a lot of fucking weed, man. That is like, wow, you know? But the thing is when they legalized it in Colorado, they had a 420 rally. You guys know what that is? Yeah. Right? Every April 20th, they have the big rally. Well, once they legalized it in Colorado, they had the 420 rally, okay? They had a shooting at the rally, okay? All the people who were against legalizing weed couldn't wait to get in front of a camera. And they were like, do you see? Do you see? That's the kind of violence you get when you legalize weed, right? I was like, no. That's the kind of violence you get when you let a crackhead into a weed rally. Because the only violence anyone that smokes weed is going to do is killing a bag of Doritos, man. That's it. And even if they get in their head a violent thought, if they can get up off the couch, which would be a feat in and of itself, by the time they get across the living room floor to the front door, they're going to be like, where the fuck was I going? And they're going to look back and go, oh shit, South Park's on TV. You got South Park on TV, a sack of weed, and like something to munch on. That's the happiest demographic of people you were going to come across. I mean, you know, other than the Catholic priest at an altar boy convention, but that's another story. That's another. It's not called Inappropriate Mind Games for no reason, people. That's all I'm saying. But I also like to, on occasion, time flies, especially when you get older. You guys notice that?
Oh, yeah.
I think we can all remember being a little kid going, God, I can't wait to be a grown-up so I don't have to listen to anybody's rules and this. And now you're like, fuck, I wish I was 18 again. Yeah. You know, knowing what I know now. I like to look back on my life and just kind of think about things. I have a friend that I'm very proud of. His name's Felipe. He's a comedian in LA, and he's a midget. Right? Yeah, exactly. If that's not cool enough, it was so funny. I was driving a Honda Element and I had to give him a ride somewhere, and his little feet like barely came to the edge of the seat. I was trying not to laugh, and he's a comedian, but he's cool with it. He's a good guy. But I'm proud of him because I found out last summer that he was gay. He finally came out of the cabinet. I was raised in New York City. My grandmother, my grandfather lived in the Bronx in New York City their entire life. I got a call last summer. My grandmother passed away, 92 years old. you know. Yeah, no, but 92, she had a good life, you know. And I get the phone call, and they're like, Gio, you should probably come up to New York because, you know, Grandma's sick, and it might be the last time you see her. Turned out it was. And I was going up to visit her in her hospital room, right? And, well, as a side note, the second night I went to visit her, I got kicked out of the hospital. Yeah, because on my way up, I noticed the sign that said stroke patients here. Turns out they meant something way different than I thought they did. I was trying to be a good citizen, you know what I'm saying? But I'm sitting in her hotel room, you know, my grandma's looking at me with her big brown eyes. Now keep in mind, she's lived in the same apartment. Anybody that knows anything about New York City, she's lived in the same apartment like 30 years, okay? 2-bedroom apartment in the Bronx, middle of the city. And she's like, I just want you to know, Gio, if I don't make it out of here, I've thought about it, and I'm gonna leave you the farm and all the animals and the equipment and about $300,000 in cash. That's what I thought. I was like, thinking to myself, what's this crazy broad talking about, you know? But you can't say that to your grandma, you know? So I was like, Grandma, what farm? Where is this farm you keep talking about? And she looked at me and she said, Facebook. When a 92-year-old woman is on Facebook and playing Farmville, that shit is going out of control. I think in general, personally, media is out of control. You know what I mean? They have to like single out everything. Something happens, it's like, well, were they singled out because he was racist? Like the guy that got dragged off the United plane. You guys read about that? Yeah. Right away, where did the press go? Was he dragged off because he was Asian? Was he dragged off, you know? And it's like, come on, you guys, you know? Everybody wants political correctness, but they also want freedom of speech, okay? I'm here to tell you, you can't have both. It's not gonna happen, you know what I mean? But I think all media is out of control, like the reality TV shows now. Have you guys seen the advertisements for that new show, Wicked Tuna? You seen it? Wicked Tuna? I haven't seen the show, but from what I understand, I think it's about Kim Kardashian's pussy. Made sense to me when somebody told me that. And then do you guys remember the old show, Scared Straight? You guys remember that? Yeah. They took kids into prison and let the inmates just scare the shit out of them. Yeah. Well, they got the new show, Beyond Scared Straight. Have you seen that? Yeah, no, they revived it, and now it's called Beyond Scared Straight. And from what I understand, this time they let the inmates actually fuck the kids. So, not a pedophile group. All right, I understand. That's cool. I'm glad I didn't go with my Catholic joke stuff. Oh, but even entertainment television is out of control with political correctness. How many people, and I know it's usually ladies, I'm not trying to be sexist, but how many of you guys watch all the vampire shows? Like Vampire Diaries, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, anybody watch them? No. You used to, right? This is what I want to know. When did vampires become all 90210 Abercrombie and Fitch like hot? You know what I mean? They used to be, I mean, they've always been sensual, but they were like scary and like evil looking, right? And now they got these guys walking around that like are all like Abercrombie, Fitch models and stuff like that. And then they've even taken it further. They try and make you think that there were actually black vampires, okay? Because of the political correctness. Okay, Gio's here to tell you, historically, that's not true. There's never been a black vampire. I can prove it. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, what about Count Chocula? Okay. He was Cuban, and he was half Puerto Rican on his mother's side. I hate to break that to you. But you'll never have a black vampire, okay? You will never, ever get a black vampire, because you can't get black guys to drink blood, because you can barely get them to eat pussy. I'm just saying. And if there was one here, I would ask, okay? Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, God, this guy's racist. He's talking about Muslims, blacks. I'm not racist, okay? I love everybody. I don't wish harm on anybody. I can prove I'm not racist. When I was a kid, all right, my best friend growing up was a black kid, right? I used to watch him do everything. We did everything together, and I watched him, like, mow the lawn. And I watched him, like, you know, wash the car and stuff like that. And I can still remember how upset I was the day my dad sold him. I was pissed. I was so pissed. Oh. My girlfriend loves the or my ex-girlfriend, I should say, loves the vampire shows and all that stuff. We used to argue all the time about watching those shows, you know. How long you guys been together?
4 years.
4 years? Okay. We were together about 3, right? And it was her 40th birthday. We're getting ready to go out. And she's sitting there and she's looking in the mirror and she's like, oh my God, look at these wrinkles and I need Botox. And she's like, my jeans are tight. She's like, I'm getting fat. And she just is berating herself, right? And she looks at me and she's like, well, aren't you going to say something nice about me? And I don't think well on my feet. So I was like, your eyesight's perfect. And that led to an argument. But we got over that, and I asked her, I said, babe, listen, it's your 40th birthday, that's a big milestone. I want to get you something perfect for your birthday. I want to get something that you really want. Just tell me what you want, and I'll get it, okay? Because you're impossible to shop for. Ladies, you're impossible to shop for. I'm telling you now, guys, back me up. All we know is flowers, candy, and lingerie. That's it. That's all we know. And jewelry. So that's what she said. She said, you know, I don't really care what you get me, as long as it comes from the heart. But I really, really want to be able to tell all my friends that you went to Jared. So I did. Got her a Subway gift card. I didn't skimp either, people. I got her the $25 card. I fed her for a week. That's 5 footlongs. Okay, that's a gift that keeps on giving. That's what I'm saying. And she used to hate my racial jokes. She used to hate them all. She's just like, you shouldn't tell jokes like that. That people think you're racist. I'm gonna tell you right now. You know what I hate is I hate the N-word, and I hate especially when black people use the N-word. Neighbor. That is like the worst when I hear that. You know what I mean? Oh. But the one thing about you ladies, I love you ladies. I love you to death. But you need to learn the word, or the meaning of the word succinct. Okay? Guys, back me up. You ask a guy, what's your name?
Dan.
Dan. All right. Now, besides smoking weed, you ask Dan, what are you going to do tonight? Dan says, me and Gio are going to go down to Sporty's. We're going to watch the game and have a few beers. Boom. You got who, what, when, where, and why, right? You ask a lady, guys, back me up on this. You ask a lady, what are you doing today, baby? And she goes, you know those shoes I have, the ones with the little sparklies on it that you really like? And I have that black leather skirt that I wear with them. And I was wearing that one blouse to the Super Bowl party over at Greg's. Not Greg that I work with, the other Greg. You know, the guy with the Corvette that you really like. And you were just totally admiring the Corvette. And then you were yelling at us, all the girls, during the game because we were talking in the kitchen while we were making food during the Super Bowl. That's not right. Even though you kept begging me to get her recipe for the 5-layer dip. But you just had to have that recipe. But you all didn't want to have us talking. And then I was eating it and I accidentally spilled it on my blouse and everything, and I stayed, and I was so upset, and I was so upset all the way home. I was almost crying. You remember that? Anyway, it's ready at the dry cleaner, so I'm going to pick it up. By the time you're done with your stories, lady, your man is like, and it's not. Trust me, it's not because we don't care. It's because we have the attention span of a gnat, and you gotta get us like that, or it's done. Oh, I'm telling you. And she hates the fact I like sports. I love sports. In particular, I like to watch the Olympics. Anybody watch the Summer Olympics?
Oh yeah.
Yeah? Yep. 17 days to watch 3, maybe 4 real sports. Okay, ping pong is in the Olympics, people. Ping pong. Seriously? How proud is that dad? You know, your buddies come over, you know, after playing rugby or football or some manly shit, and you see an Olympic gold medal on the mantle, and they're like, holy crap, your kid won a gold medal in the Olympics? Yeah, man. Summer Olympics 2016. What sport was he in? Wrestling, or was he? Oh, ping pong. Okay, now I watched an interview with the president of the International Olympic Committee, okay? And do you guys remember back in 2000, I think it was 2012? Maybe it was, yeah, 2012. They had baseball and softball in the Olympics. Do you guys remember that? Mm-hmm. They took it out in 2016, remember? He was asked, why did you take it out? He said, and I quote, it was not athletic enough. Okay? In the same interview, he asked, what is the 2020 experimental sport going to be in the Olympics? He said, without even a hesitation, bowling. Okay, now I want you to all do me a favor. Get an image in your mind when I say Olympic athlete. Okay? Do you guys have an image of an Olympic athlete in your mind? What comes to mind? Did anybody, in any stretch of your imagination, come up with this image? Anybody? Okay, when you look like this, people, and you can win a gold medal, the shit you're doing is not a sport, that's a game. Alright, that's all I gotta say. It's a game. So I'm gonna leave you with this. The last time my ex and I had sex, I realized how out of shape I was because it was during the day that we were having sex, and I was putting on the condom. And ladies, let me just say this. My dick looked like a fat chick in skinny jeans. And not in a good way, ladies. I'm talking like the fat chicks you see at Walmart where you can see the hail damage because they're wearing spandex, and then they got the muffin top going over because they're wearing a shirt that's 2 sizes too small, and then they got a bra that's 3 sizes too small, so instead of shoulder blades, they got back boobs, right? And they're kind of making Jabba the Hutt look like Callista Flockhart, you know, and the front of the shirt says drop food, not bombs. You're thinking, if anybody should drop food, it's you fat tub of shit, and I have to be bombed to go out with you. That's the kind of fat chick and skinny jeans I'm talking about. Thank you, Sporty. Thank you so much. It's been awesome.
One more time for Jiovani.